Today's weather, hot.
This is Uni from Yoonyverse and welcome back to my channel. If you are channeling in for the first time, thank you so much. I hope you follow me on Instagram. I'm gonna put a link below, and also hit the subscribe button for fun New York fashion stories and obviously about my life too. So as of my life, if you have checked out my latest video on the top 5 budget of living in New York, I'm gonna put a link here as well. You might have seen that I'm actually going to move out from New York, and because I'm going to move out, I'm going to clean out my closet, and I really wanted to sell a lot of things that I really don't want to bring with me and have a bunch of costs just to bring a dump of clothes. I would have just gone to thrift stores and just sold them and everything. But since it's the pandemic situation, all the thrift stores are closed. There's only one that was opened who will send out like a package, like a bag, like a selling bag, mail bag I think, so I can put the stuff that I might want to sell and then just send it without knowing whether they'll take it or not, and I have to agree that whatever they don't take, I'm okay to donate it from them. And so as of other clothes, which I'm going to show you today, I wanted to see if I were to sell some of my designer items, which includes like some clothing, some shoes right here I have, and some of my bags and accessories. How much would it go for? How much would they go for? So I decided to choose The Real and Fun Fact. Last year, I almost worked with them, and I believe the person that I'm about to have a virtual white glove appointment to see whether they would like to consign my pieces or not, who is going to be my luxury manager, is probably a position that I almost applied for and I almost got. But for some reason I never got it, so here I am. I made an appointment with them, and I'm about to do a virtual meeting to see if they will take my pieces or not, and if yes, how much would they go for and how much would I get. And so I'm here. I have about 11 pieces, and I'm just going to show it to you guys what I'm going to show to my luxury manager. Her name is Katie. She's very great. But this is a secret between you and me. I'm actually not going to sell all of them, obviously, because I also have like very precious items like my Chanel Premier watch, which is actually a wedding gift from my mom. And so I'm never gonna sell this baby. I just want to know how much it might go for. And also this bag right here, I just got it like a couple of months ago, and this bag is a like traditional Burberry mark, like simple black bag with like this strap, and the retail price was like $1,200, but actually I only paid around $300 because it was on sale. So stuff like that, we'll see how much they go for. The watch that I just showed you, the retail price, and because it's a watch, it's a timeless piece. There's no season for this, which is great when you are doing like luxury consignment, because you can't just go buy like season anymore. These are timeless pieces, and no matter if you bought it like well, it's more about the condition of it, but it doesn't go old because it's out of season anymore. So this baby right here was worth retail $4,600. So let's see how much she goes for that. And then I have some shoes that are pretty old, but still in good shape. These are my Gucci pumps that I got at my first trip to New York about like 10 years ago, but I'm just gonna tell her I got it like 5 years ago. And I bought them around 900 retail. So let's see how much this goes for. And I have some Fanny Pack like this. Oops. Which if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen me wear this everywhere, and I'm actually not going to sell it. I bought it at around 800 bucks, but I think the original retail price goes for about 1200, and I'm not gonna sell it, but I just want to know how she would buy it for. And so let's see how much my designer brands are worth and how much I might actually consign. So yesterday I finally had my virtual call to see the value of my items with my luxury manager, Katie. She was super nice, and I did explain to her that I actually am interested to see the value that they will put on the products that I want to sell, and then see if I do actually want to let them go or not later on. So what I did was I explained to her through the phone call, and it was FaceTime, so I could show her all the items. And then eventually she was mostly okay with most of my items, except for some shoes that were worn out, either at the heel or at the bottom, or there was some fixing that needs to be done. And she just suggested that although the brands that I was like showing her, she liked them, like I have to get those shoes fixed before I can actually try to consign with them. So I'm actually waiting, and today's the next day, and she is the luxury manager, so I think she just handles this kind of like calls with their consigners, and then she'll send the pictures of each items that I actually sent after the phone call, and then she'll have them like examined and valued or whatever by other experts who are more knowledgeable in product details or brands, or they might do other research on what was the retail price, and they'll see the conditions and they'll give you the final price that they will sell on the real. So while I'm waiting for all those, let me just show you what I showed her one by one, and then I'll tell you what my retail price was. And for those items that she already got back to me in terms of the price that they will give me or they will consign for me, I'll go through that too. So first off, this Chanel watch that I actually have no intention of selling or consigning, as I told you. It was a retail price of $4,600 that is currently sold on Chanel.com. And it is a Premier watch. The name of the watch is Premier, and it's like double strap of the leather chain with silver chain. And the price that they gave me was in between $1,900 to $2,900, which is way lower then the actual retail price, of course, and this is almost new. I even had the sticker at the back, which I recently took off. So it's almost new, but they gave me like, I guess it's a fair price, but obviously I will not let go of this watch, but that was the price. Then I had this Fanny Pack, which is from Yves Saint Laurent, and it's pretty new. I only got it last summer, and I did wear it a lot, but it's patent leather, so it doesn't really get worn out as long as I don't put any weird scratches on it. I can just like even wipe out like simple like fingerprints or whatever. I could just even wash it with like wet tissue and then wipe all the dirt out and it will be clean. And so this retail price is around $1,200, and they were actually willing to sell this at $1,200. So in a reverse cycle, like if I were to shop on the RealReal, and I know those are like secondhand pre-owned bags, sometimes I have to be careful because I could just buy this new, and I bought it at an outlet store, and so I got it at like $800, but now I have to buy a used one at $1,200. That's just one thing I took away from this experience. And then this Givenchy Nightingale, which is a mini bag that I kind of like kept relatively well in terms of condition, but it is definitely a model that is not new anymore, so I do understand that. And I bought it at $1,200, and that was like at a duty-free store, so it was tax-free, but now they were pricing it at around $600. I guess that's fair, but I'm not gonna sell this either. And then for this Burberry bag, which is also worth around $1,200 at retail, but I bought it at like, I think $300 or $400, I can't remember, but it was either one of those. Let me just check what they gave me. Okay, so for this bag that I bought at $300, they were willing to sell at around $700 or $800 even. So, I mean, if I were to sell it, I would make off some money, but I'm actually not going to sell it. I'm just gonna give it to my mom. So those are the items that they got back. And from the shoes that they didn't take, it was these Yves Saint Laurent booties that I also got really cheap. I think it was like the retail is around $800 or $900, but I got it around $250 something because it was on huge sale. And because like, you know, they're booties and I'm walking around or whatever, even if I don't wear them the whole day because they're not the most comfortable shoes, I'll still get these stains, and she didn't want to take it because of this. I would need to fix it first before I sell it to them, so this was a no. And then these Gucci pumps, which were also worth about $900 in retail, and I just bought it at retail. It had some of the studs that were taken off because apparently these studs are empty, and I just ended up like keep bumping into something, and then it just came off, so it would come off. And I did fix a couple at the Gucci store, but at the end, like I couldn't be bothered, and I lost the studs when I stumbled into something, and so I didn't keep all the studs. And so to get the part from Italy, it's like takes forever, and so just to fix that was such a mess, and I never fixed it. And she was like, I need to fix it first, but she said it will be worth it. I don't think I have the time to do that right here before I have to leave the country. Good morning, guys. So this is second day after I had my virtual call with the luxury manager at the RealReal, Katie. And finally, yesterday, she came back with all the prices that I have asked to consign. And so from the other items that I hadn't showed you, for this Fendi bracelet, they came back with $95 till $195 maximum. And then for these Pucci sunglasses, they came back with $65 to $125 maximum for consigning them with them. And then for these Clergerie Sandals, they came back with $95 to $145 maximum. And then there was this coat that I showed you guys, which was from Balenciaga. And for that coat, they came back with $300 until $425 maximum. So with all of the prices in my hands, I did a little calculations to see how much I could earn the most if I was to sell at the highest price that Katie mentioned, and also what that would mean in terms of how much I would have originally invested in buying all these items. And finally, no matter how much I spent on buying these things, how much I would earn at most if I were to consign all of these items. So, I did a little math, and so basically for their commission rate, if anything is sold below $1,500, their commission rate starts at $55. So for the 8 items, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I forgot, there was a Louis Vuitton scarf, and that one they rated at $325 minimum, and then $495 maximum, which is even greater than the Balenciaga coat. So there we go. So I have 9 items that they actually accepted if I were to consign. And out of the 9 items, the only thing that I would get more than 55% of commission, which would be 60%, which would have been my Chanel Premier watch, somewhere here. And for the rest of the items, I would have gotten 55% at most. And so there is something that Katie doesn't know, and she never even asked actually. She didn't ask like, oh, how much retail price that I paid initially to buy these items. And so I did pay like full retail price for just one item, which is my Givenchy mini Nightingale bag, because I got that at tax-free store, but even then it was tax-free, so I still got a little bit off of the retail price that I would have, normally gotten from a department store. But I did pay full price. There was no sale going on or no discount, and so that's the only thing that I paid in full. And for the rest of the items, I had either bought on a reselling website or a store, or I had bought them at an outlet, and some of them were gifted, so I didn't even pay anything. So if I did all of that math out, you can see it right here or right here, I don't know, I'll put it right here so you get an idea. Compared to my value that I would get if I were to consign all of these items compared to the amount that I originally paid, I am actually losing $35.50, meaning I don't earn anything by selling these items, and I actually lose $35.50 by consigning and eventually selling these items compared to the price that I have paid. So let's just, go through one thing here. Sometimes, like, we girls like to justify that when we're buying branded items that we are investing. Now, I think if you look at every single item that I've tried to get the price for consigning, the only thing that actually made sense in terms of investment value, because the value was more than what I had paid, was the watch. And it's also because it had a brand, it had a retail price that was worth more than the reselling price that I would get. And also my watch is in good condition. And then also, and on the contrary, there were definitely some items that were valued relatively well. For example, the Louis Vuitton scarf. Actually, that scarf was gifted to me, so I never paid anything. It didn't even pay a dime. And for that scarf, they rated at most $272.25. So, like, watch, scarf, and I guess that's about it. Because for all the shoes, especially shoes, that is very visible on how it can be worn out. Even if I wore these like just 2 or 3 times maximum, and I wasn't even like walking around crazy because these aren't the most comfortable shoes. They are a type of item that can wear out really easily, and so the value goes really down. Same with my coat. I didn't wear it that much, and I don't know which season exactly, but I do know it's definitely like 5 or 6 seasons, 5 or 6 years ago, so that would make it like 12 seasons, which is pretty vintage. But still, like, the value of the item just plunged from $2,000 to like $233 maximum. And so you cannot say that when you're buying these items that you're investing, as long as you're investing in a piece of jewelry that is fine jewelry with either gold or silver or diamond inside, or watches that has like value and that has a brand that will take value in the future, and probably like I don't know, like some scarf or some accessories that you barely use, but then you do know like the brand will take value in the future. Versus all the bags that I wanted to consign, they definitely had definitely lower value, except for if I had bought them super cheap. And so you really have to use the word invest carefully, because it really matters what item you're buying and which brand you're buying from. Now, if I were to consign all of these items and the Real was supposed to give me the highest amount that they had mentioned, no matter how much I would have paid in the past, I would still at the moment gain $4,090.50. But that is to say, I give up my wedding gift, which was the Chanel watch from my mother. I would have given up all of the bags that I actually do use from daily day basis, and some of the gifted items that were gifted to me that either has a memory or some kind of, attachment to my life, and I would have given all of that up, and I would at the end of the day gain around $4,000. So yeah, that's the take, technically. And so I am definitely gonna take my seat, relax, and sit back and think, if I really want to consign my items and lose all of that value and all of that money that I had spent. I mean, before, when I was doing this in Korea and I wasn't consigning, I was literally just selling it off of the price that they will give me, because there are stores like that give you right on the spot through a direct deposit, so you can literally just sell it without having to wait and consign. I did those things because I needed quick cash, and I knew like designer brands had value, and it was definitely a loss for me because a lot of them I had paid full retail price, but I just still needed that money, so I just did that anyway. And also because they would give you the money on the spot. But right now, I don't know when consigned items can be sold. I have to move out of the country, and that means if they don't get sold within the 90 days, then I have to like go back and forth with the Real to find out how they can return my items, or how much like I have to pay for them. All these different like complications. And also, I would definitely lose some pieces that I've always adorned. And so I would just say that from now on, even for myself, like when I'm trying to buy a piece of branded item that is from a luxury brand, I should be careful in terms of the price that I'm initially paying. And also, like, it doesn't matter if you are buying from outlet or if you're buying from a secondhand dealer. As long as the conditions are good, it doesn't really lose value. So it will just give you advantage of how much money you're spending. And if ever you wanted to resell it in the future, then you just need to keep that condition really good and just be careful like which items you're going for. So that's about it for me today. I hope this video is somewhat helpful. If you ever think about either investing or reselling your branded item, I suggest that you do a little bit of math and take a bit of time, so at least you enjoy the piece that you probably worked so hard to gain it. And if not, probably consigning isn't so worth it. And having said that, I guess when you buy from these websites, just be careful that you could actually buy a new item that is probably the same price if you're lucky, without having to go through a reseller or pre-owned stores. But if you do want to get some vintage items that are never able to be found on the actual retail stores, then obviously vintage shopping is a different story, and at Yoonyverse.com you can definitely
shop those vintage items too. So it was a long video, but thank you so much for channeling in, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.